Okay, so hello, assalamu alaikum students. This is your teacher Azka, and today I am come up with one more video which is related to accounting 7707 means what is the paper I guess and scanner final mm, 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 mm. I think I just lost the paper. Uh, okay, so yes, no, this is paper 2 variant 2 I guess. So just give me 1 second so I can just find out the paper. Yes, I guess this is the paper. Okay, so in the previous video, we have done with this paper, and this is October number 2023, paper 1, variant 2. So now we are going to see the other paper, which is, I guess, variant 3, and paper 1, October number 2023. So, yes, so this is the paper. So as you can see that this paper is 7707, paper 1, variant 3, October, November 2023. And we have 1 hour 15 minutes to complete this paper. So now let's start from the very end of this paper, which is 35 MCQ. Yes, so this is our MCQ. I just lost the paper. Where is the MCQ? I just lost the MCQ from here. Like, yes. So our first, okay. So here is our first MCQ. So which characteristics of a final information require that financial statements be clearly presented and assumes that the users of financial statement will have a reasonable knowledge of accounting. So this is basically showing us the characteristics of the understandability. Yes, because whenever you basically the characteristics of the financial information in which we should present the financial information just like that, this is very easy for the users to understand the financial statement. So this is basically the characteristics of the understandability. So D is the right option for this. Relevancy, it means that the person can be relevant from your financial statements, and your financial statements having some kind of characteristic that you can compare it with the other financial statements which is not made by you but maybe made by for from the other countries or companies. So reliability, it means that the data is basically, you can say that reliable, and you can gain trust of your stakeholders. So this is the characteristics of reliability. But in this example, they are showing the characteristics of understandability. So yes, for 35 number question, this is the option is the right option. So now let's see the other one. So in the question is Jimmy made credit sales of 98,550 in each of the year 2021 2022. In 2022, his trade receivable turnover was exactly 2 days shorter than it had been in 2021. What was the change in his total trade receivables in 2022? Okay, so now here in this example, this is very easy, but just remember one thing. Basically, we just have to find out the average total trade receivable for 2021 and for 2022. So after that we will be analyzing that, okay, so is it decrease or is it increase from 2021 to 2022. So how can we do it? So this is very simple. First of all, let's talk about 2021. Basically, I'm just going to let the trade receivable turnover days. For example, if I say that my total trade receivable turnover days are 42. Guess. Okay. So what is the formula? Trade receivable over um yes, carried sales multiply by 365. This is the formula. Okay. So now we are basically going to find out the trade receivables. So what we have to do is trade receivable, we are going to find it out, and our carried sales is equal to 9855. Sorry, this is 98550. Yes, so this is our credit sales. 98550. So these are our trade carried sales. Sorry. So basically, we are trying to find out the trade receivable. So now this is very easy. We are going to make trade receivable as the, yes. So trade receivable, we are going to make it subject. Okay. And then now just divide. Where is my calculator? I think just give me 1 second. So I just calculate it. Okay. So here 98550. So this will be shifting on this side. So we have to multiply it with the 42. And here that was basically multiplying, but now this will be changing into division. So 365 divide. So 98550 multiplied by 42 divided by 365. So this is your average trade receivable is 11,340. So this figure is just I assumed. You can use another figure. Maybe you can use 100, you can use 50, you can use 52. This is totally your choice. So whatever the figure you are going to assume, this will be giving you the same answer. So this is for 2021, okay? And if you see in the question that they have said that in 2022, his trade receivables turnover was exactly 2 days shorter. So if 2 days shorter than it had been in 2021. So if I assume that 40 days turnover was in 2021, so it means that for 2022 it is automatically shorter than 42. So it means that this would be 40. So I will be using same formula. 40 is equal to trade receivable divided by credit sales, um, multiplied by 365. Okay. And now again, we are going to make subject the trade receivable. So 98550 multiply 40 divided by 365. So this is basically giving me the trade receivable, which is 10,800. So we just need to find out the change between in his total trade receivable in 2002. So in 2021 it was 11,340, and in 2022 it is 10,800. So basically it has decreased by 540. If you see that 11,340 minus 10,800, so this is $540, and it has increased by 540. So it means that our C option is the right option. Okay, so now let's see the other question. So in the other question is CD Limited took a long-term bank loan and used part of the funds to pay some of its credit suppliers early. How did this affect the trade payable turnover days and return on the capital employed, ROCE? Okay, so first of all, uh, okay, so basically you own your, you use your own funds, took a long-term loan and use part of the funds to pay. Okay, so basically you have used the bank loan. So what happened here? Because you have paid your liability, so it means that your trade payable turnover days would decrease. Okay, and also because you have used and used part of funds to pay some of its credit supply. Yes. Okay, so basically you have used that long-term loan to pay your suppliers. So if you just remember the return on capital employed formula, so what is it? ROCE is equal to um, operating profit divided by capital employed multiply 100. So this is a formula. So if you just used this long, and we know the capital employed is basically owner's equity plus long-term loan. So if you use that long-term loan just to pay your liability, so it means that what your capital employed will be decreased, and that's why uh, maybe yes. So basically, your return on capital employed would decrease. Why? Because your operating profit, your operating profit and your capital employed, these are the main things here. So if your capital employed will decrease, so it means that your overall ROC will be decrease. So it means that A is the right option because here uh your trade payables turnover is decreasing because you paid the liability, and also because your capital employed has decreased, so that's why your return on capital employed would also decrease. So A option is the right option. Okay, so now let's see 32. So in 32 question, if you see, like, this is very easy, I guess. Toby's purchases for the year were $13,000 and his closing inventory was 1,000 more than his opening inventory. Okay. So, mm, okay. So his closing inventory was 1,000 more than his opening inventory. Toby's gross margin is 20%. What was the Toby's revenue for the year? Okay. So first of all, they have said that his closing inventory was 1,000 more than his opening inventory. So if I just take an assumption that if my opening inventory is equal to 1,000, so if my closing inventory is more than 1,000, so it means that my closing inventory is equal to 2,000. And the purchase is already written here, so purchases are is equal to 13,000. Okay, and the closing inventory is 2,000, and I have to deduct it. So it means that 1,000 plus 13,000 minus 12,000, 2,000, sorry. So it is giving me the answer, which is 12,000. Okay, and they basically asked to me to find out mm, the total revenue, but I have a margin. Margin is 20%. So it means that first of all, I have to find out the margin and I have to find out the markup basically. Okay. So how can I find out the markup? This is my cost of goods sold. And it means that I have to convert margin into markup. So if you want to convert the margin into markup, so formula is markup is equal to um, margin over 100 minus margin. So margin is 20% over 100 minus margin. So this will be giving me 20 over 80. And if we just convert it, because we have to multiply it with the 100, so this is giving me the 25%. So it means that 25% is basically my my markup on gross profit. So if you see that my cost of goods sold, markup on cost of sales, sorry. So you know that my cost of sales is $12,000. So it means that if I just simply multiply it with the 25%, so I will be receiving my GP, and my GP would be 3,000. 10,000 multiplied by 25, but this is 3,000 GP. And now finally I'm going to find out my revenue. So whatever my revenue, I'm just going to write it here, the X. Cost of sales was 12,000 and GP is, I just found it out, this is 3,000. So now because when there was basically revenue, so we will be deducting cost of sale and getting GP. So but now because I don't have revenue, so it means that I will be working reverse. So it means that I will be adding 3,000 into 12,000. So this is giving me the answer, which is $15,000. So it means that $15,000 is my revenue. So it means that B option is the right option. Okay. Um, so my next question is, this is 12 p.m. Thursday. Okay. Okay. So question number 31. Rahat has not maintained full set of double entry records. She has details of her assets and liabilities at the start and the end of the year. Which additional information does Rahat need to or in order to be able to prepare her income statement for the year? Okay. So first one is the statement of affairs at the start of the year. So basically, the statement of affairs is totally about the assets and the liabilities. So this would not be helping us to make income statement, because in the income statement there is different things: income, expenses, sales, and cost of sales. So that's why this is not the right option. And summary of receipt and payment account for the year, yes, this would be helpful, because we know that in the receipt and payment we will be seeing different expenses, the wages which we maybe have given to our most of the suppliers, and maybe to our workers, okay, maybe some payments for purchases, so these kind of things. So yes, this seems to be the right option. See, amount of her capital at the end of the year. Again, this is nothing to do. The capital is nothing to do with the income and income statement. So this is the wrong option. Rate of inventory turnover, no, it is not helpful for the income and expenditure statement. So yes, B option is the right option. Okay, so the next question is 30. So capital of a business is higher at the end of year two than it was at the year and end of the year one. No additional capital has been reducing the year during year two. So what does it mean? So it simply means, first of all, the business has made a loss. If business has made a loss, so it is not like increased in year two. So that's why this is not the right option. So in the B option, the business has made a profit. So yes, this can be happen, because we know that whenever we made profit, so we will be adding that profit to the capital, and that's why our capital has increased. So B option seems to be the right option. Business has sold some of non-current assets. No, this is not the basics. The business has long-term bank loan. No, basically, it will increase a liability, not the capital. So that's why B is the right option. Okay, so 29. Which option only contains indirect cost? Okay. Carriage inwards, factory rent, wages of factory supervisors. So basically, factory rent is also indirect cost. Wages of factory supervisors is also indirect cost, but carriage inward is not. So that's why it is not the right option. 29, uh, B part. Sorry, B option. Carriage words direct in direct cost, raw material, direct cost, wages of machine operators. This is also direct cost, but we have to see the indirect cost. So this is not the right option. Depreciation of machinery, indirect cost, factory rent, indirect cost, wages of factory supervisor. Yes, this is also indirect cost. To see is the right option. D, depreciation of inventory, machinery. This is the direct indirect cost, raw material, direct cost, wages of machine operator. This is also the direct cost. So it means that C option is the right option. Okay. So part question 28. Par Golf Club had a shop that sold golfing equipment to its members. Treasurer provided the following information for the shop for the year ended 31st December. Sales of golfing equipment. This is 5,300. Opening inventory of golfing equipment, which is 400. Closing inventory is 450. Purchase of golfing equipment is 2,700. Returns from the customer is 200, and carriage on purchase is 100. So we have to find out the gross profit for the year. Okay. So let's find it out. So first of all, we have the sales, which is 5,300. And after that, we have the opening inventory, which is 400. Okay, so we have Return from customers, which is 200. So we have to deduct it here, 200, and this will be giving us 5100. This is the net sales. Open inventory and upper purchases are 2700. And closing inventory is 450. So it means that now we are going to find out the gross profit. So 5100 plus 400 plus purchases minus closing inventory. So we have the GP, which is 2350. So this is the right option. Okay. So now let's see the other question. Question number 27. So in question number 27, how are subscription received and subscription written off recorded in a receipt and payment account? Okay. So if the subscription is received, we will be making its debit entry on the debit side. And whenever you have to write off your subscription, so you will not be making any entry for it in the receipt and payment account, because they are talking about the receipt and payment account. It is just like the cash book. So we know that cash book has two sides, receipt side and payment side. So whenever we receive subscription, so we will be debiting our cash book, it means receipt and payment account. But when there is entry related to write off any debt, so we will not be recording it into the receipt and payment account. So yes, your subscription written off will be no entry made in the cash book, means in the receipt and payment account. So it means that D option is the right option. Okay, so now let's see the 26. Okay, so 26 says that what are the features of debentures? Okay, return received dividend, no. Based on profit, no. Voting rights, no. Okay, and in the B part, dividend, no. Fixed rate, yes. Voting rights, yes, right. Return received, but we need to find out the three options, like altogether three options should be right. Okay, so return received in interest form, yes. Based on profit, no. The voting right, no. Interest, yes. Fixed rate, yes. Voting rights, no. Yes, no voting rights. So it means that D option is the right option. Okay, 25. Which item is directly affected by the dividend policy of a limited company? Okay, so basically whenever we are paying dividend to the shareholders, so our retained earnings would be affected, because whenever we are going to pay dividends, so it will be subtracting from the retained earnings. So it means that your retained earning would be affected. 24. Pari and Era are in partnership, sharing profit and losses equally. Interest on capital account balances is allowed at 60% per annum. Pari is entitled to salary of 5,000 per annum. Capital account balances at the start of the year 60,000 for Pari and 40,000 for Era. Profit for the year was 27,500. How much residual profit was credited to the Pari's current account at the end of the year? Okay. So first of all, what is the profit? So the profit is 27,500 and interest on capital, because I think there is no drawing here, so that's why minus interest on capital. Okay, so for the Pari, her capital was 60,000, interest on capital was 6%. So it means that 3,600 will be deducting from the profit. Okay. And for Era, her capital was 40,000 multiplied by 6%. So this will be giving me $2,400. And after that, we have to deduct the Pari's salary, which is $500. 5,000, sorry. So it means that our residual profit would be 16,500. But if you see that in the question, they have said that sharing profit and losses equally. So it means that we have to divide it by 2. So it means that A250 for each and A250 for the Pari also. So A option is the right option. Okay. So the next question, 23rd. Trader provided the following data. So total purchases, purchases return, carriage inward, goods taken for the use. What was the net figure for purchases in the income statement? Okay. So like it is very simple. What we have to do is simply what was the total purchases? Total purchases 235 2530. Okay. So just deduct the 1945 from the total purchases. Okay. And add the carriage inwards and deduct the drawing of goods taken. So at the end, your answer will be your net purchases. So your net purchase is equal to 22,679. So it means that your option B is the right option. Okay. Question number 22. Emma provided the following information at the end of her financial year. What was her profit for the year? So these are the information. So fees is basically $78,000. Okay. And the rent receivable is 11,000. So add this into the fees. Office expenses was 20,000 and deduct this office expenses from the total of fees and rent receivable. Motor expenses minus and drawings. So drawings will not be deducting. Why? Because this is a part of statement of financial position. So it means that your answer will be 60,000 profit. So it means that D option is the right option. Okay. So the next one is that what is the an advantage of operating as a sole leader? So being entitled to all profit shares, this is the advantage. Being responsible for all losses. So this is the characteristic, but this is not the advantage. So this is not the right option. Having limited liability, no. Having unlimited liability, so this is the disadvantage, not the advantage. So A option is the right option. Question number 20. Joseph sells goods on credit and maintains a provision for doubtful debt. He wants to increase his provision for doubtful debts by 400. Which journal entry records this increase in the provision for doubtful debts? So this is very simple. Um, we will, because if he is going to increase the provision by 400, so it means that our income statement will be debit. Normally, whenever you are increasing your provision, so your provision account will be credit and income statement would be debit by the 400. So it seems that C option is the right option. 19. Motor van originally cost 11,500 and had been depreciated by 9,000. The van was sold for 2750. How should the profit or loss on the sale of van be shown in the disposal account? First of all, we have to find out its net book value. So the cost was 1150 minus its depreciation was 9,000. So it means that its net book value is equal to 2500. If the sale proceed is lower than the net book value, so it means that this is the loss on disposal. And if maybe your sale proceed is higher than the net book value, so this is the profit on loss. So if you see 2500 is its net book value, and when its sale proceed was 2750. So if you just deduct 2750 from 2500, so you will be having 250. So basically 250, 2500 is the net book value, and 2750 is basically your sale proceed. So it means that this is profit on disposal. 250 is profit on disposal. Or you can also say the gain on disposal. So just remember one thing, that gain on disposal, whenever you gain on disposal, so at that time, just remember one thing, that your income statement would be carried, because we know that all types of incomes would be carried in the income statement. So your income statement would be carried, because this will be the income for the income statement, that's why. And disposal would be debit. So now, because they are asking about the disposal account, so it means that your disposal account would be debit by $250. So B option is the right option. Okay, 18. So in 18 question, which non-current asset should be depreciated using the revaluation method? Yes. So we know that for mines and wells, straight-line method is more appropriate. Motor vehicle, for this RVM is useful. For office equipment, again straight-line method is be useful. And revaluation method is mostly used for the goods which is maybe very inferior in the value. So loose tools are basically inferior in the value. So that's why A option is the right option. 70. What is the reason for charging depreciation on the non-current assets? So this is very easy, because we just want to charge the cost of the asset over the years which benefit from its use. This is the main reason that why we are charging the depreciation. To build up a fund of money that can be used to replace the asset, no, it's not like that, because your asset is reducing its value, not increasing it. That's why this is not related to it, because here you are building up the fund, but you don't know that maybe you will be having loss on disposal. So A option is not the right option, and in the C option, to ensure that profit is not understated in the income statement. So again, this is not related to it, because we are just charging depreciation, that we should match the revenue with the expenses. So B option is the right option, simply. 16. Sales return were incorrectly recorded as purchase return in an income statement. Sales return were incorrectly recorded as purchase return in the income statement. What was the effect of this error? Okay. So basically, what happened here? Um, your cost of sales would be your cost of sales would be overstated. But how? Uh, for example, if I say that if your purchases return, basically, if your sales return were incorrectly recorded as purchase return in an income statement. What was the effect of this error? Okay. So first of all, we know that capital employed is nothing to do with it. But yes, these three things can be happen: cost of sales, gross profit, and profit for the year. So let's just try to uh, think about it. First of all, if your purchases return are increasing, because that was not supposed to write in the purchase return, but you mistakenly write in the purchase return. So it means that your purchase return will increase. It means that your cost of sales would decrease. So if your cost of sales would decrease, so it means that we cannot say that this is the overstated. So B option is not the right option. If the cost of sales basically decrease, so your GP would be overstated. So if you see that here, this is written that understated. So it means that it's not right option. Okay, so if GP is overstated, so your profit is also overstated. And this is written in the D part. So that's why D option is the right option. Okay. Question number 15. Which transaction is capital expenditure? Okay. Capital introduced by the owner. No, this is not a capital expenditure. Payments of wages. Again, this is not the capital expenditure. Purchase of a new equipment. Yes, this is a capital expenditure. Repairment equipment. This is a revenue expenditure. So C option is the right option. Question number 14. Jan wished to make a contra entry between a sale ledger control account and a purchase ledger control account. The credit entry was made correctly, but the debit entry was entered in the sales return account in error. What was the effect of this error? Okay. So basically, we know that in the PLCA, your contra entry will be recording on the debit side. And in SLCA, your contra entry will be recorded on the credit side. So they said that the credit entry was made correctly. So it means that there is no mistake in the sale at the control account. So this is right. But the debit entry was entered in the sales return account in error. So what does it mean? It means that you just decrease your purchase ledger control account. Okay. So it means that if you decrease your purchase ledger control account, so it means that your purchase ledger balance would be overstated. So because in the question, if you see like there is no option for the sales return account. So total purchase ledger balances were understated. No, it's not like that. It is not understated because you mistakenly decrease it. That's why it would be overstated. So option A is the right option. But there is no mistake in the SLCA. So this is why C and D is not applicable. 30. The balance of cash at bank shown in the cash book is $1,200. Bank statement at the same date shows a balance to be 1440. What could explain the difference? Okay. So basically, if in the balance of the cash book is 1200, so it should be equal to the bank statement balance. Okay. So first of all, let's try to write each and everything. The first one is that payment to a supplier 120 entered on the wrong side of the cash book. Okay. So it means that this is a mistake from the side of cash book. So if we want to rectify it, so let's see that if you rectify it, so will we be able to get this $1440 which is shown in the bank statement? If maybe rectifying by this error, if we will be getting this 440 which is written in the bank statement, so it means that this option is the right option. So now let's see. 1200 is basically our cash book balance. And we done mistake. We paid a supplier 120 and entered on the wrong side of the cash book. It means that we should enter it on the credit side, but we entered it on the debit side. So it means that we have to deduct, we have to make the double entry. It means on the debit side and on the credit side again. So minus 120 minus 120 is equal to 240. So this will be giving us the number which is 960. As you can see that this is not matching with the bank statement balance. This is not the right option. B. Bank charges 240 not in the cash book. It means that again this is a mistake from the cash book side. So 1200, if we just rectify it, 1200 minus 240 is equal to 960. As you can see, this is again not matching with 1440. So this is not the right option. C part. Checks to suppliers 240 not yet presented into the bank. So now we have to see that okay, if 1440 is a bank statement balance, so now it should be equal with the cash book balance if we rectify it. So 1440. And if we just it is not presented, but it will be presented in the future, so just minus this one 240. This is giving us the 1200 answer, which is matching with the cash book balance. So this seems to be the right option. But let's see the D option also. Received from customers 240, banked but not yet entered in the bank statement. Okay, so if we just add it 1440 plus, because we didn't bank statement in the bank statement is not entered yet, so if we entered in this, which is equal to 240, so this is giving us 1680, which is not equal to the bank cash book balance. So again, this is not the right option. So it means the main difference was the C part. Because of this, we are seeing the different balances in the cash book and the bank statement. Okay. 12. Alicia's cash book showed a double balance of 100 on her bank account. She compared her cash book to the bank statement and updated the cash book for the following items. Credit transfer to credit supply, which is 80, credit transfer from a credit customer, which is 112, interest paid by bank, which is A19. What was the debit balance on the bank account after the cash book was updated? Okay, so first of all, mm, in the cash book, a debit balance was 100. Sorry, 100. So just credit transfer to credit supply. So just minus 80 from the 100. So 100 minus 80 is equal to 20. So credit transfer from a credit customer. So we receive this income. So plus 112 plus 20. So this is 112 plus 20. So this is 132. So now we in paid the interest in bank, and this is 19. So just deduct 19 from the 132. So 132 minus 19. So this is 113. So it means that C option is the right option. Okay. So now let's see the MCQ number 11. Okay. So a trader prepared a draft income statement which showed a profit for the year of 36,000. A check of books revealed the following information. So these are the information, and now we have to find out the corrected profit. Okay. So first of all, the draft profit is 36,000. Okay. And drawings made by owner, which is $900, had been debited to the wages account. So we debited into the wages account. So it means that this should not be the part of our expenses. So that's why we have to add back $900 into 36,000, because we mistakenly deducted it, but it shouldn't. That's why we now adding back $900 into it. Provision. Provision for doubtful debts was increased by $20 at the year end. The income statement was charged the total provision, which is 260. So if you just deduct it, so provision for doubtful debts was increased by 20 at the year end. The income statement was charged the total provision. Okay, so you charge 260, but you should have charged $20. So it means that there is a difference of $240. So now we have to add back $240 into it. The total of the discount allowed column in cash book is 140 for 1 month had not been debited the discount allowed account. So it means that if this is not uh, deducted from the expenses, so now we have to deduct it. So minus 140. So this will be giving you the answer, which is 37,000, the new profit. So it means that option C is the right option. Okay. Question number 10. Which statement correctly describes a suspense account? Okay. So it is an account open to check for errors at trial balance? No. We don't use a suspense account to check the errors, because errors is easily, if this is not, it is affecting the trial balance. So it would be easily located by a trial balance. It is a permanent account and used to correct the statement of financial position. No, it is not a permanent account, and we are not using it for correcting the statement of financial position. We are just using it temporarily, just to balance our trial balance. C part. It is a temporary account used to correct errors for a complete reversal. It is not only used for the complete reversal, and complete reversal is not the error, because this is the error which is not affecting the trial balance. And in the last part, it is an account that is opened when the total of trial balance are disagree. Yes, this is the use of the, oh sorry, this is the use of your suspense account. So this is the right option. 9 question. Following entry was made in journal to record the correction of an error. Okay, Wasim 320, bank 320. Which error has been corrected? Okay, so basically what happened here, a check 160 was carried to Wasim account, but no debit entry was made. Okay, so check which is received from the Wasim account. So it means that if you receive the check from Wasim, so Wasim must be your customer. So if you received check from the Wasim, so Wasim should be carried. Okay, but there is no debit entry. It means that you didn't enter it into the bank account. So what you will be doing, you just simply debiting your bank. But here, as you can see, that Wasim account is debited by 320 and bank is debited by 320. So this is not the right option. Okay, so in the B part, check 160 was debited into the bank account. Okay, but as you can see, this is not debited by 160. But no credit entry was made. It means that you didn't credit the Wasim account. So as you can see that if you just want to rectify this error, so you will be crediting the Wasim by 160, but here this is 320. So it means this is not the right option. A check paid to Wasim 160. Okay, so you have paid check to the Wasim. So it means that Wasim is your supplier. So a check paid to Wasim 160 was credited to his account. Okay, so it means that we have to debit the Wasim, but we credit it. So if we just want to rectify it, of course, we will be making its double entry. Because let's suppose if this is a Wasim account and we know Wasim is our supplier. So we paid check to Wasim. So we have to made 160 entry here, bank. Okay, but we basically credited his account. It means that we accidentally write bank entry here, 160. So we know that if we just rectify it by writing bank here on the debit side, so it will be cancelled out. That's why make we have to make the entry by 320. It means that we have to double the amount and debit it to the bank. Okay, so basically you have to credit the bank. You have to credit the bank by writing Wasim here, but you debited it by Wasim with the same amount, which is 160. So again, if I just want to rectify this error, so it means that if I write it on the credit side now, so this will be cancelled out. So it means that I have to credit the bank with the $320. So it means the C part is the right option. Okay. Question number 8. Paul's trial balance contain errors. So these are the errors. So let's see what are the errors. Fixture and fitting is right. Light and heat is debit, of course, right. Purchases would be debit. Insurance would be debit. Sales would be credit. Trade payables will also credit. Trade receivable debit. Bank overdraft, yes, this should be here on the credit side. Capital credit and drawing should be right here, 2000. So if you just write 2000 here and bank overdraft here, so you will be saying that the total of the debit side would be 20,700 and the total of the credit side would be 24,500. So what is the credit trial balance total? Okay, so this is now very obvious. The total would be the 24500, B option. Okay. Trader maintains a petty cash book using the imprest system. Impressed amount is 120. The petty cash transaction during the month of June were received from customer 21, payment, stationery, postage, cleaning, payment to supplier. How much was given to petty cashier on 1st July to restore the imprest? Okay. So, um, okay. So 21 was the receipt. So just add it with the 120. So this is 141. 25 uh, minus 21 minus 25 minus 10 minus 20 minus 40. So this will be giving you 95. So add 95 into 21. So it is equal to 116. It means that now you have 116, but you have to pay 120 as the restorage amount. So 120 minus 116. So 120 minus 116. Uh, 1 second. Okay, basically the total of this 25 plus 10 plus 20 plus 40. I think I have to total it again. Okay, 25 plus 10 plus 20 plus 40. So this is 95. So add 95 into 21. So this would be giving us 95 plus 21. Sorry, 95 minus 21. So this is giving us 95 minus 21. This is giving us 74. So it means that now you have only $74, but you have to give 120. So, but this petty cashier having 20, 75, $74. So 120 minus 74. So how much amount this senior cashier have to give the petty cashier? So 120 minus 75. So 120 minus 74, basically 74. This is $76. So it means that we have to give $46 to the petty cashier. So A option is the right option. Okay. Mm, so customer paid 15,600 to supplier after receiving two whole 1/2% cash discount and a trade discount of 20%. What was the amount of the invoice entered in the purchase journal? So we know that it is very easy to find out the invoice price now. So how can we find it out? So just remember one thing, that we have to find out the invoice price. So invoice price, uh, we have basically paid 15,600 amount after deducting cash discount and after deducting the trade discount. But we know that cash discount would apply upon the invoice price. Okay. And trade discount would be applied on the list price. So it means that now we have to find the invoice price. So invoice price, for example, if you pay this 15,600, so how we get this 15,600? Basically, from the invoice price we have deducted the cash discount, and that cash discount would apply on the invoice price. So minus invoice price multiply 2 and 1/2. So if you just convert it into the decimal places, so it would be giving you 0.025 is equal to, and after deducting the cash discount we paid 15,600. Okay, so ip is x, we don't know that what is the value of it, minus ip, it means invoice price, 0.025 is equal to 15,600. Okay, so if I just want to make it subject, for example, if x is equal to 1, because we know that every variable have a value of 1. So if this is 1, for example, x is equal to 1, so 1 minus ip 0.025 is equal to 15,600. So now deduct 0.025 from 1. So we will be having the answer, which is IP 0.975. 0.975 is equal to 15,600. So now we are going to make IP as a subject because we want to find out its value. So IP and 0.975 multiplying here, so it means that it will be dividing on the 15,600. So 15,600 divided by 0.975. So the final amount of IP is 16,000. So C option is the right option. This is your invoice price. Okay. Question number 5. At the end of the month, how is the total from sales journal recorded in the ledger? Okay. At the end of the month, how is the total from the sales journal recorded in the ledger? Okay. So first one, credit to the customer's personal account. No, because we know that it would be debit in the customer account. Credited to the sales account. Yes, at the end of the month we will be credit all the sales journal amount into the sales account. So this is the right option. Debit to the customer's personal account. No, we whatever the social total sales journal, we will be transferring it into the sales account, not in the individual customer account. Debit to the sales account. So we know that sales account would not be debit, it would be credit. So that's why this is not the right option. So B is the right option. Question number 4. Eden purchased goods from Jay and paid for them by bank transfer. When he received a statement of account, Jay says he hasn't received the payment. Which document would help Eden check that he had made the payment? Simple bank statement. Because of course, Jay paid amount by bank transfer, so he will not be having check counterfoil, not paying in slip, and not even petty cash voucher, because of course he is not recording in the petty cash book. So he is basically send the amount by bank transfer. So it means that he will be checking out his bank statement just to know that whether he paid the amount or not. Okay. So question number 3. What could a credit balance on a ledger account represent? So if there is a ledger account, okay, uh, if this is a ledger account, so ledger account can be anything. It can be expense account, it can be bank account, anything. Okay, so we know that if this is the expense account, so we will be using the mnemonic PAP, P, A, P. It means that balance BD, if this is prepaid, this would be under the debit side, and this is accrued, this would be a credit side. Accrued at the year end would be on the debit side, prepaid at the end would be on the credit side. And for example, if this ledger account is a income account, so we will be using mnemonic APPA. If the balance BD is accrued, so it will be on the debit side. This is the income account. And if the balance at the start is prepaid, so it will be come under the credit side. If this is the balance CD at the end, which is uh, prepaid, so it will become under the credit side, debit side. And if at the end, if this is accrued income, so it will become over the credit side. So what could a credit balance on the ledger account represent? Okay. So if you see accrued income, so if, as you can see, that credit balance on ledger account represents so accrued income. So if this is accrued income, so this will not be a credit balance, this would be a debit balance. So this is the wrong option. Asset. So we know that asset would be on the debit side, not the credit side. This is not the right option. Expense. So expense also, this will not having a credit balance. This would be having most of the time debit balance. So this is again the wrong option. Prepaid income, yes. If the income is prepaid, so this is kind of uh, this is prepaid income. It means this is advance income which we received, but we didn't give any service to our customer. So that's why this would be under the credit side. So this is the right option. Question number 2. Which statement correctly describes the accounting equation? So this is very, very simple. We know about it. Capital is equal to assets minus liability. This is not right. This is not right, and this is not right. So assets minus liability is equal to capital. Which action does not reduce the owner's capital? Business expenses paid using a personal check. So if which action does not reduce the owner's capital? Okay. Business expenses paid using by personal check. So if the business expenses paid by the personal check, so it will increase owner capital. So this is not the option. Okay. Mm, which actions does not reduce the owner's capital? So yes, this would not reduce the annual capital. Yes, this can be right option. Cash withdrawn from the business bank account for personal use, this would decrease the owner's capital. Goods taken from inventory for personal use, this would also decrease the owner's capital because this is drawing. Personal expenses paid using business cash. So again, this is the personal expense. So A option is the right option. Okay. So goodbye and let's meet in the next class with the new past paper.